welcome to What a Player Concussion Sub Series, where we are reviewing day 5 of day 4th play of the World Test Championship final. And to review everything what happened today, I have Vishak and Akash with me. Hi, boys. How are you doing?
Good,
Absolutely
Sanjay.
great.
How are you?
Very well, very well. So today was the day where we finally had a more or less close to full day's play. New Zealand were 100 odd for 2 wickets, and then they collapsed, and then their lower order batsmen got a lot of runs, and India are looking at 30 odd runs lead. Akash, how do you think the day went for New Zealand and India? I thought we started really well, but their lower order batsmen getting 100 odd runs for the last 4 wickets probably has tilted this game into only a New Zealand win or potentially a draw.
I think it's potentially a draw of New Zealand win. I don't see how we can win it from here. Probably only because of the fact that we are looking to first bat out the first session and then probably attack and provide a target or something like that. Because without having any kind of a cushion, I don't see our batsmen going after the bowling and trying to set a target. That would be foolishness. We would rather share the trophy instead of losing it. So I think the first objective will be to survive the first session, get through tomorrow, and then maybe attack in the first hour of post lunch session, and then maybe set a target or something.
Vishak, looking back at the day, how did you think India fared in the bowling department? The first session was such a crucial one. We did not give away too many wickets, too many runs, but we didn't get like heaps of wickets in the first session. So that kind of consumed 2 or 3 hours, which would have helped to push a result now.
Yes, I was pretty surprised at the New Zealand's intent. I thought they were the ones who had to push the game to actually they were ahead and they could have easily pushed ahead and forced the result. But I was surprised with their approach, their defensive approach, especially Kane Williamson. He was too defensive. They were not playing any shots. I think Ross Taylor at least tried to play some shots when the ball was full, but Kane Williamson was too defensive, and I think they did not try to push for a result as well. So that actually helped us, and our bowlers are also they're allowed to bowl that length, whichever they wanted to bowl, that back of a length. I think today we saw a better display from our bowlers. Shami and Ishant especially pitched the ball a little further up, and they got some assistance, and that's where we got the wickets. But again, I was disappointed with Bumrah. He was again bowling that back of a length, except that one full length delivery in an over, which where he used to beat the bat or get the edge, but he was not consistent throughout.
Clearly, Akash, none of the teams want to lose this game. I think both will be happy with the draw because you cannot control rain and weather. 2 days lost in this test match. In fact, more than 2 days. Even today, I think we lost 13, 14 overs with the first half an hour, 40 minutes losing to rain. So I can't blame how New Zealand played. This certainly looks like something which will potentially end in a draw.
Yeah, it looks so because this is the first of any championship which you have come across, and you don't want to be runners up, especially if it is like a 3.5 day game or something like that. You worked hard to reach here. 2 years of work has gone into whatever has happened. Even though Kohli might say that it's just a one-off game and we're not bothered about the championship and all this stuff, all that is at the back end. But to be honest, nobody wants to lose in a finals of a championship. So I think you have to accept that the conditions were bad. It was in favor of bowling, especially when we were batting, especially when India was batting. But considering that how you have just a slight chance of victory possible, I think both teams went into the shells. The bowlers of both the sides tried pretty well, but the batsmen I think were in the frame of mind that first you have to secure a good strong position for the team and then look for victory. And that's the reason I felt tomorrow also India will first look to secure the position and then maybe think about winning or drawing the game.
Yeah, this game is crying out for a collapse like a 36 all out from one team or the other, but it's not happening. In terms of bowling, Vishak, as you mentioned, Bumrah having an off day, an off test match. I think this is his third test match in his career where he's went over 20 overs without taking a wicket. I thought they probably made a mistake by not opening with Shami because as soon as he came on, he started making things happen. And he's probably the one who is more of a swing bowler, and Bumrah and Shami are probably hit the deck, and that's why they could make full use of the situation.
The same mistake what they did day before yesterday as well when they opened with Ishant and Bumrah. They did the same mistake today as well. They did not open with Shami, but as soon as he came, he looked threatening. The ball was doing something, and immediately, if you see that right, he picked up 2 wickets in that session late in the, and he made the difference in that session. Just like going out with 1 wicket, or New Zealand would have been still ahead even if they had scored only 35 runs. If they had lost 1 wicket, they would have been ahead. But the Shami spell, where he picked up those couple of wickets, actually changed the game, and the first session actually belonged to us after that. So it was very crucial. I think Kohli definitely missed a trick over there by not opening with Shami. But again, I was pretty surprised when he was taken off the attack, and but he was one good thing he was doing is that he was bowling him from the other end immediately. So it was not like it was just change of ends and not like he was taken off the attack. So he was given a longer spell, but just some 2 overs break in between, and he was continued for around a longer spell. So that was good, and he actually flourished the way more he bowled, and that ball to Vijay Watling was a peach. So maybe he played down the wrong line, but it was a very good delivery to actually just curved a little bit away and just broke the stumps.
Yeah,
It
I
was
know.
a peach of a delivery.
Yeah, Indian fans, we like super critical of everything. We need to be, mindful that so much time has lost in the game. This could easily have been a day where New Zealand could have got 350 and still batting maybe, and then there was no chance of anything else apart from a New Zealand win or a draw. At least here we have slim chance of something happening. Akash, the lower order batsmen of not just New Zealand, any team around the world. One is our lower order is so bad, and the opposition. In fact, there's no tail end. I think anywhere in the world now. So I don't know. I mean, is there anything we could have done differently?
See, these things happen. I must say we do have a history of, making the tail play. But in this case, you don't see Jameson and Saudi as, proper tailenders. They are, bowlers who can bat a bit. If you look at Jameson and Saudi's career, Wagner and Boult are obviously tailenders and they didn't contribute much. But Jameson came out with a very clear, mindset that he has to attack the bowling and up the ante a bit because there's no point in him hanging around there with Kane Williamson and not scoring the runs. They probably wouldn't have got the lead had Jameson and Saudi not attacked the way they did. So credit to them, they batted well out there. So you can't call them as tailenders. But yeah, India has been vulnerable in terms of tailender. They don't seem to know how to get rid of the tailenders in any case. So credit to these two, Jameson and Saudi.
Vishak, so India started with 30 odd overs to get 30 odd overs to play and 32 runs behind. Anything you were expecting that India will push on and try to get a result? I thought this was pretty much not possible because one is the wicket is difficult and you would not want to lose this game before you want to try and win this. So although I must say I was disappointed with Gill's dismissal. He looked really good, but he's getting out to that same delivery or similar dismissals every now and then.
Yeah. So yeah, disappointed with Gill's dismissal and even Rohit Sharma dismissal. I was clearly set up with those outswingers and that suddenly that in swinger from Saudi. It was a very good setup, but still that was a poor leave. And coming back to both the dismissals were actually poor. Even in the first innings, both the batsmen got set and got out. And again, coming to your initial question, India first thing in their mind would be like to go secure, ensure that they don't lose the test, and then push for a result. So had they gone hard today and lost 4 to 5 wickets, the match would have been over today itself. Now, just that they've gone 2 down, and with Kohli and Pujara at the crease, they are actually going in with a good chance to still draw the test match rather than losing it. So I'm not saying that we can still draw the test match. There's still a long way to go. So at least we have a good chance now with some of the we have Rahane, we have Pant, we have Jadeja and Ashwin to follow. There's quite a bit of batting to follow, and we have a good chance to at least draw the test match. But only way for India to win this test match is bat little secure for the first 1.5 hours, then go berserk in the second session first hour, set around 180, 190 target in around 45, 50 overs, and just expect a collapse from New Zealand like what happened in the Birmingham test in 2018 with us. where we chased 194 and we could not do it.
Akash, a lot of comments coming around whether we can get a result, and uh, the ball is now in India's court, which I'm not sure because I can't see India pushing along from the first ball or the first session in the morning. I think they'll just play normally like they've done, but it might come in handy if someone plays a brisk little innings, because if we have a similar session to what New Zealand have this morning, where they scored only like 30 runs in 2 hours, then the game is not moving, and then the Indian loss is the only possible result apart from a draw that will come into picture.
Yeah, they have to be a little careful when they go in tomorrow morning. They can't dead bat everything. They have to keep a mindset that there is a possibility that there will be an hour or so wherein New Zealand bowlers can get on top of us. So they have to keep the scoreboard ticking and at the same time ensure that they don't lose the wickets. So once they've reached a safety position, say they score about 70 odd runs in the first session without losing one more than 1 or 2 wickets, then they're secure. Then they can think about maybe pushing along for an hour or 20 odd overs, probably score another 100 runs and then post a good target of 200 to 20, for which Kiwis can be given a 40 over target or something like that. Again, you can't expect 98 overs to be bowled tomorrow again. There's a possibility that you might not get to see so many overs, especially with fast bowlers bowling in both the teams. It's going to be quite difficult to get 98 overs out there. So keeping all this in mind, I think it's better that India goes with the mindset that don't dead block everything, play to the merit of the ball, save the first session, and then think about what needs to be done next. That should be the mindset.
That's the answer. Vishak, I've already got what Akash is expecting. I see question for you, Vishak. Would you be happy if we try to push for a win and then lose, or would you be happy if we just play for a draw?
See, the thing is, everybody wants to play to win, but you would not want to lose as well. In such a finals where it is something for a championship, you would rather choose to share the championship than lose it and lose the championship. So sharing it, at least you are being joint champions. But if you lose, you're not getting that test miss. So I would rather prefer. I'm not saying play for a draw, as Akash said. Like you have to try push, but make yourself secure and then go for the win, rather than go berserk and go and lose it.
Yeah,
And,
I
and it's and it's like you're not losing it out because you played badly. You're losing it out because of the weather. If had you had proper 5 day cricket, then maybe both teams should have thought about going for the victory or something like that. You've already lost close to 2+ days in with rain. You don't want to lose it out just because you want to do something silly out there to compensate for the weather. That shouldn't be the case.
yeah.
And one more thing, ICC has done a very good thing putting a reserve day. Otherwise, the match would have been a dull draw by today itself. Just with one innings completed for both the teams, and it at least that having that reserve day is at least having all the three results possible. Although the third result of India win is slightly slim, but I would say like with all the three results possible, we are going into the sixth day, which is the reserve day.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we do not have two reserve days. This is, and you could play another extra hour because these are long summer days in England. The sun has come out. You could easily make 15, 20 overs up each day, but I mean, you can't help it. Questions coming around whether, and I'm going to be critical of Virat Kohli's captaincy, although I must say that I really like that he came out to bat rather than sending Ishant Sharma as a night watchman because there was only 13, 14 minutes left. Was Ashwin underutilized? One is I did not understand why you would even bowl Jadeja right after lunch because yes, there were 6, 7 overs left for the new ball, but the ball was swinging irrespective of new ball or not. So I was a bit surprised Jadeja getting a ball and getting it ahead of Ashwin. Akash?
So that was a bit of a tactical move. They wanted to save the energy of the pace bowlers, and they wanted to get through the overs quickly as well, so that they can reach 80 overs and then immediately take the new ball. And Ashwin comparatively takes a little bit more time than Jadeja, and there was no harm because anyways both the bowlers were not like wicket-taking bowlers in on this side kind of condition. So I think that's how they tactically brought Jadeja in ahead of Ashwin in there. But frankly, if I have to talk particularly about the bowling, let's come right from the beginning of the test. I'm pretty sure, and on the hindsight, they would be going in thinking that okay, we went to them with the perfect team. But somewhere on the hindsight, they'll be thinking if we had played Siraj in there, if we had played a swing bowler in there in Siraj, could we have got New Zealand out earlier? That would be question number one. Second thing, which I don't understand from a tactical perspective, is why do right arm seamers have to go around the wicket from ball one to left handers? That is absolutely rubbish. Have you ever seen Trent Boult come around the wicket to bowl to a Kohli or Rohit Sharma? That doesn't happen. You stick to your basics first. Try if you can, get the batsman to play on the off stump. Try if you can get the ball into their pads, and then when nothing works out, then go to the around the wicket strategy. They could have got Latham and Conway had they stick to the over the wicket and subsequent movement of around the wicket. Continuously to all the three left-handers, they started coming around the wicket right from ball one, which was a comfortable space for both the left-handers because there was no swing out there. They were seam bowlers, not swing bowlers. They played them out comfortably. That 60-run opening stand actually could have cost India because had they got one of them earlier, or even both of them for that matter, India could have been pressing for a one win by now. So that couple of tactics out there has to be questioned from an Indian management perspective. Coming to the spinners, two spinners in England doesn't work. If I were in the England camp, I would already be shivering. One, we made a tactical blunder playing two spinners. Number two, we batted in the worst conditions and still came out pretty okay. And now our bowlers have shown that without any practice matches, without any kind of an experience in the last 2 weeks, we have got New Zealand out for 249. So in the coming days, in the England series, we should see a better performance, and hopefully we are tactically more sound against the England boys.
Yeah, lots of different comments coming in. Purul Modi asking about Saudi's 30-run game changer, which we've already discussed. Then the lower order sticking around, which we've touched upon as well. And this seems to be a problem every time we play anyone. Thoughts on Ishan, Shami, we've discussed. I was disappointed with Bumrah. I mean, even in hindsight, if we had picked Siraj, I thought we would have picked it ahead of Ishant, but Ishant has done reasonably well. I think Bumrah has been the big disappointment. Another question coming in around for Kiwis is to percentage of times they got out. Akash, this is matchup.
Okay, so you can't pinpoint at anybody's technique out here. It's just that you're there for your team. You're playing. You're giving your 100% out there. So just give your best. It doesn't matter if it's a Virat Kohli having a 93% control, or if it is a Kane Williamson having a 85% control out there. It's all about what you deliver for your team at the moment. People blame Kane. I mean, even I have a negative thought about why Kane couldn't have played much more swifter innings than what he did. But the Indian bowlers were at it all the time. So, we have to give credit to the way Kane Williamson at least sticked out there, ensuring that he's there to, see that the team goes past India's total out there.
No, I agree. It's a tough wicket to bat on. Quick word, Akash, on future of Shubman Gill. He's had chances in India. He's not capitalized after that Brisbane brilliant 90 odd runs. Probably one or two test matches, and someone else will have a go if he's not getting any runs.
If he needs a piece of advice, all he has to do is look at his opening partner. His opening partner was touted to be the next big thing in India, and unfortunately, he wasted almost 3 to 4 years in his early part of the career. So if Gill has to improve, he has to just look at Rohit Sharma and say, forget about all the topics off the field, just concentrate on the game and trust your talent, trust your abilities. Today, what we saw, the dismissal to Saudi was just I wouldn't say it was a bad dismissal. You're still young in there, you'll learn. It was a masterclass out there who was bowling out there, but at least in these conditions you got to learn very quickly, especially with the five match England series coming up, and Mayank and Rahul both breathing down his neck. I think it's important that he picks up his mistakes pretty early as well. Rohit Sharma can help him in this regard because he seems to be pretty settled out there, even though he got dismissed today to Saudi. But I think he's got a better experience in terms of how to handle such conditions. So Gill has a lot to learn out there.
I agree. Both of them.
One more thing is he has that problem with the incoming ball. So that's the reason he actually pokes out and gets out to outswingers as well, thinking the ball would come in every time, and the bowlers would be targeting him that way. Even if you see today, there was a comment which is made in a group saying that Dinesh Karthik put a word in the commentary just a few overs before that, saying he is susceptible to in swingers, and that's the exact way he got out, trying to play across the line. I think he needs to work on his technique a little bit. He is a very good talent. He will be the future for India, but he still has to improve his technique against the moving ball. But on flat tracks, he showed how good he can be on flat tracks when he played in Australia. Even that 91 was a very good innings in the fourth test, which actually set the platform up for Pant to later come and play that innings. So on flat tracks, he's definitely good, but in swinging conditions, he has to improve his game. And Mayank Agarwal again, if you see, he is also susceptible against the against the moving ball nowadays. So I think he also has to improve his technique a little bit if he has to come into the level. That's the reason I think he was dropped. And Shubman Gill was trusted because of his recent performances in Australia, and he has been the recent go-to opener for India. I think that's why he has got the initial nod. Until he fails in the first two tests in England, I don't see Mayank Agarwal coming in, or KL Rahul for that matter of fact.
Vishak, quick word on Kane Williamson. I agree it was relatively slow innings, but no one's been able to fly off and get quick runs. Apart from, I think, Saudi and to an extent Ashwin. That was a crucial knock. That probably ensured that New Zealand has very little chance of losing the game.
Yeah, definitely. I was pretty surprised in the first innings the way he played, but in the second session, he held fort and he ensured that New Zealand get the lead. He was positive in the second session, and when he lost Colin de Grandhomme, he started playing some shots as well. And that innings from Saudi and Williamson definitely helped them. And that important those two innings of 30 and 21 ensured that they get the lead. Even after Ken Williamson got out, Saudi hit those couple of lusty blows and they got a handy lead of around 32 runs. So I think Saudi's innings was both these innings were pretty important in the context. And Ken Williamson definitely as we said, like Virat Kohli's innings of 44 was gold. Same with Ken Williamson for New Zealand here. He played an absolute gem of an innings. He held fort there. But I will also, at the same time, I'll also be critical that he didn't push the game. Had he pushed the game a little bit, he played around 160, 170 balls instead of scoring 49. Had he scored that 70 there, maybe New Zealand would have had a better lead and they would have been in a better position today.
Okay, let's quickly, there are quite a few comments on DK's commentary, which we'll, maybe touch upon tomorrow. He's got an extra day. That's what is being told to improve his commentary. Is Pant going to come in ahead of Rahane? I can't see that happening. And in terms of target, Akash, if we are in control, what do you think India will potentially give New Zealand to bat?
I think more than the target, it's about the amount of time which we want New Zealand to bat, and amount of time which we need our bowlers to attack New Zealand batsmen. So I think probably if we have roughly about 35-40 overs being given to New Zealand, I would expect nothing less than 200 to 220, because you wouldn't want to set anything less than 6 runs per over. If you consider this as a one-day game for the last part of this test match, and any of the New Zealand batsman goes attacking, you wouldn't want anything less than 6 runs per over. So I would say if you have roughly about 35-40 overs being given, nothing shorter than 220 should be set for New Zealand.
Vishak, your final thoughts. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? India win, India loses, or will it be a draw?
I think it's petering out towards a draw, because the first session we would not be. One good thing what India has to do tomorrow is like not lose more than one wicket in the session and score around 60 to 70 runs. And first thing we need to hope is the play starts on time, like unlike today. So we can get around at least 90 overs in the day, so that at least one of the teams can push for the result. Otherwise, even if some overs are lost, it is going to be difficult. But I think the match is nicely going to be petering towards a draw, because both teams look to be playing little safe in this match for me.
Which is understandable. Akash, your call. What's going to happen tomorrow?
Depends on the first session, frankly. If New Zealand bowlers, somehow are able to manage 3 to 4 wickets in the first session, then I think they will definitely go for the win when they get the chance to bat. If India can somehow eke out as a good 70-80 runs without a loss of more than 2 wickets in the first session, then I think it's going to be a draw. From an Indian batsman perspective, I think the first motto will be to save the first session. But from New Zealand, expect them to go hard. They're not going to be playing safe until India bats at least. So depending on the target, and then they might choose to play for a draw or for a win. So expect it to be hard New Zealand attack against a good solid Indian batting lineup.
Yeah, the only way anyone's going to win in this game is if someone's going to collapse completely. So yeah, really looking forward to a full day's play. Hopefully 98 overs in, whatever is the result, and let's see what happens. Whether India can probably make a game out of this, or New Zealand goes ahead and wins this, or will it be a draw and the trophy shared, which none of us actually want to happen, but we'll take it considering the situation and the time lost. So, Akash and Vishak, we'll see you back again tomorrow. And for all our viewers, thanks for joining. And hopefully, you will join us back again tomorrow's live session just after the game. And till that time, be safe, take care of yourself. Please follow protocols of wherever you're living in this world, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to our channel if you like our work. Drop in a comment, and we'll see you tomorrow again. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Stay safe.
Stay safe, everyone.